Good evening, Crypto School. Good evening, friends, family. Welcome to this call. It is Monday evening and it's time for Crypto Talk. And I've received a few special messages of people saying they, unfortunately, in the load shedding area now, so they'll catch us on the recording. But for everyone on the call tonight, welcome. It's our privilege to host you tonight on Crypto Talk. And as we will have a little look into the market, and it was a day that had some fire, some green stuff in it. Can you believe it? After 9 weeks of red candles, 9 weekly red candles for Bitcoin, at last we got a bit of green in there. And my understanding, and I know Jason will say a lot more about that, but it's the first time ever that Bitcoin has had 9 weeks of red candles off one after the other for 9 weeks straight. So we look forward to Jason. Tonight, we're going to only have Jason to recap the market after our guest speaker. And tonight, we privileged to have a fellow Kryptonian, or what do we call that tonight on the call? And let's just quickly show you our topic for tonight and the market update. We know that Jason will do the market update, but we have a special guest, Arran. And Arran has said that he would like to come and chat with our community with regards to his experience with Revix. And when I met Arran, we could quickly talk crypto, and it was easy, and I could see his passion. And he sent me a little bit of info on himself just to confuse everyone. And this is only to confuse Lee and Larry. But he's been in crypto since 2016, and he's a private client partner of Revix. And he likes to share his knowledge, and that sounds like something Crypto School in there. But his credentials include an MSc in insurance and risk management, and then an MSc in digital currency, and he's a certified Bitcoin professional. If I now haven't impressed you with his kind of stock, then I will not. So Arran, I've done my absolute best to get the info out there, but I know that you will come and do it much better. So Arran, without further ado, welcome to us on Crypto Talk. And please just come and share with us your experience with regards to Revix. You come from the formal fiat world like myself. I used to be operational, or used to spend my time in the fiat world. But since 2016, I got into crypto, and it sounds like our bios got mixed up because that's the same time for you. But Arran, please, all the way from Cape Town, don't hold it against him. But Arran, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Daniel. I really appreciate it. Thanks to the Crypto School for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. As Daniel said, this is my first time chatting here, so I wasn't really sure where to start. So I'm starting right from the beginning over here, just like I'm speaking to some crypto beginners. And as Daniel said, I'm just going to take you through the lessons that I've learned over 6 years being in crypto, and just what's made it easier for me to navigate the space, and just to try to realize as much profit as possible being in this investment class, and also just experiencing crypto, transacting, just being a part of this whole movement. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen, open up a PowerPoint presentation, just get straight into it. And hopefully I won't bore you with some of the simplistic stuff, and we'll just take it from there and see where this journey takes us. So thanks a lot for the introduction. I really appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you, Arran. And yes, you're welcome to share so long. And fans, while Arran is busy doing his presentation, you most welcome to chat in the chat box, type your questions. Arran, you can share so long. If you're ready, chat your comments in the chat box, put your comments in the chat box. We will answer that after we had Jason's recap of what the market is about. And we will go to Arran and he will answer your questions. So please feel free to chat away. Thank you, Arran.
Okay, brilliant. Are you guys seeing my screen? First of all,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, guys, cool. Yeah, just to kick it off, the first thing I always love to say is, despite Bitcoin being traded for over 10 years as a public asset, you're still early, right? It's an emerging investment class. It's only just begun to touch institutional money in the form of regulated funds and other structures abroad. And this is still largely a retail fueled investment class. However, this is changing exceptionally quickly now. And the reasons why this is changing is we're starting to get sound regulatory frameworks all over the world. We have better platforms, better products, consumer protection is starting to come up. And there's just a lot more competition and a lot more awareness. And us as investors, we're always searching for areas where we can place our money over the long term to beat the crushing effects of inflation on the purchasing power of what we earn through our jobs and all that, and also to speculate and hopefully realize a profit on our investment. So now, regardless of your personal reasons as to why you're in this market, be it content creation, be it investment speculation, wealth protection, whatever, you are part of something special. You are part of a financial market boom. And historically, these really only come every few decades. So why am I here? I'm here to share some knowledge and experience. I'm here to minimize newbie mistakes, because we all go through those mistakes when we get into the digital asset market. And I'm here to improve your understanding of the asset class. And I'm really going to try to keep this session under 20 minutes. And at the end of the session, please come forward with any questions. I'll do my best to answer them. And also any further topics of interest, so I can explore those topics and in the future put something together for us to discuss so we can all learn together. So the session outline, the presentation today is we're going to look at the crypto market cycles. We're going to look at investor sentiments. And we're also going to take a dive into Bitcoin as the market leader, as well as altcoins. We're going to explore diversification in the digital asset market, as well as the question of whether one should hodl or trade. We'll touch on some simple investment portfolio management and then open the floor for any questions or any further topics we'd like to explore. But as I said, as Daniel said as well, let's keep the questions in the presentation. I can always refer back to slides that we went through previously if we need to touch on stuff. So firstly, market cycles. I love pulling up this chart over here. We know financial markets, they're cyclical in nature, regardless of the financial market. And there are these periods of expansion and there are periods of contraction, bull markets and bear markets. And we're going to touch on this very shortly, but I love this chart here. It's from one of my favorite sources, lookintobitcoin.com. I'll provide that URL at the end. But this chart, it's displaying the full price history in US dollars of Bitcoin since about 2009. And that's around 4,300 days of trading as a public asset. And at this current market value of around $30,000 for Bitcoin, as an investment, it has been profitable for about 88% of its lifetime. Right now, unfortunately, some may agree, some may disagree, but we are emotional beings. And usually with that, we have a very short time horizon. And so periods of extreme downside, they usually rattle us. I'm sure we're all feeling that a little bit now, even though we've got a little bit of green this last week. But I think this chart in itself displays how this asset is a store of value versus government currency over the lifetime when you look at it in dollar value. As we're discussing, financial markets, they're cyclical, they're periods of expansion, periods of contraction. And this is even more so in digital assets. And I want to touch on why. The overall market capitalization of digital assets, so the total amount of money invested in these instruments, is tiny relative to other investment classes. This small market capitalization, it results in larger growth multiples and also larger loss multiples in the upside and downside. And digital assets, they're very volatile. Most of us have experienced this. And because this investment class is still largely retail dominated, emotions often get the better of us with regards to selling into downside, into capitulation, and buying into euphoria. So digital assets, they're highly speculative investments because of their short history of existence. They are experiments. And because of this high risk that we take and this extreme volatility, we expect a higher return at some point in time, risk to return, right? Now, these assets as well, they change in correlation to other investments. Recently, we've seen they've been positively correlated to stocks, but that changes at all different times, right? So right now they are moving in the same direction, but at any point in time, this can change. And this is not always the case. Some theorize that eventually we may see a complete decoupling in correlation between equities and crypto. And it's often stated that a conservative allocation to this investment is between 1 to 10% of one's overall money. All right. Now, one of my favorite questions, I love this. I've often had these conversations with financial advisors who completely dismiss this investment class as even a small part of one's investment portfolio. And my response is usually in the form of, what is Bitcoin? And often many people can't even answer that, right? So we're not going to take a deep dive into Bitcoin, but I want to highlight some fundamentals of this asset and how this network operates. So Bitcoin, it's a fixed supply digital asset, right? Which means that there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins in existence. And at its most simple level, Bitcoin is regarded as digital property. It's the first thing on the internet that cannot be copied and pasted, right? It is therefore scarce, it's rare, it cannot be duplicated. But how do Bitcoins come into existence? So I really like this table over here on the slide, which shows the supply schedule of how Bitcoins come into existence. And you'll see the different headings over here. We've got block number, we've got block reward, and I want to speak about block reward a little bit. So the block reward is a small percentage of the 21 million Bitcoin that will ever exist being rewarded to a Bitcoin miner. Now, we're not going to take a dive into Bitcoin mining today, but every block of the Bitcoin blockchain causes a block reward in the form of some Bitcoin rewarded to a Bitcoin miner. And this happens every 10 minutes. Now, on top of that, every 4 years, the block reward to the Bitcoin miner, it's cut in half, right? You can see the heading there, halving. Every 4 years, this block reward here is cut in half. And what that block reward obviously going to the Bitcoin miner. So when you look at this digital financial system in its entirety, you ask yourself, what do we have? We have a digital asset. It's used for value transfer. The network itself, it's not controlled by any single entity. The supply schedule of the 21 million Bitcoin that will ever exist is known. We can see every transaction ever made in Bitcoin on a digital ledger of blocks, the blockchain. And every 4 years, the reward to Bitcoin miners who secure the network through computing power is cut in half. So the market price for each Bitcoin, it's a function of its circulating supply in the market and the demand to use Bitcoin for whatever purposes someone wants to. The total supply is fixed. The circulating supply increases, but it increases at a decreasing rate. So if demand to use the Bitcoin network over time increases at a rate greater than the issuance rate, which is the block reward of the 21 million Bitcoin that will ever exist, only the price can be affected. And the supply schedule is set in stone, it can't be altered. So I just wanted to highlight that because I want to show you the price action of Bitcoin around each halving. And I've drawn some vertical lines here to show the halvings that have passed, with the next one occurring in March 2024. And what we see is generally the price of Bitcoin, it begins to rise in anticipation to the Bitcoin halving events, as well as following these events. Now, don't be mistaken, a reduction in the rate of circulating supply of an asset, it cannot be stated as the only reason for something that should be valued higher. But if that asset in question has a unique value offering, as Bitcoin, digital money system with a disinflationary supply schedule, which is this, a disinflationary supply schedule, powered by a fixed supply asset, will most likely continue to increase in value if adoption continues to increase. And this next halving is in 2024. Now, referring back to these market cycles over here, we all want to invest at the best possible time, right? But often time in the market beats time in the market. It is always wise to analyze previous market cycles, drawdowns, to gauge a price area where one wants to begin investing. And as you can see, since the previous all-time highs in November of last year, Bitcoin's already reduced about 63% in market value. This is in comparison to between 80 to 90% of the previous market cycles. What must be noted, though, is that each of these market cycle expansion phases has been slightly less aggressive than the previous one, and hence the downside as well. Now, big questions everyone wants to know: has Bitcoin reached its bottom? If not, how low can Bitcoin go? Right. So what I want to do here is actually just want to bring up TradingView charts. I'm just going to stop the share for a second here.
Yes, we see your TradingView chart.
All right. I love bringing up the Brave New Coin. It has. Okay, so I just want to bring up the Brave New Coin index over here because it has the longest price history for Bitcoin. All right, so you can check it out on TradingView over there. Ticker symbol is BLX over here. And the 100-day moving average, it's been a notorious bottom indicator throughout Bitcoin's price history. We can see here for each market cycle, we're always touching this 100-day moving average. And where we are about here is we're quite close. We're not far off it at all. Right? No one knows where the exact bottom is. And to try to time that exact bottom is exceptionally difficult. The price range of about $25,000 to $19,000 is pretty much the area of Bitcoin where generational value opportunity to buy in is present. And I think that's an extremely important point over there. This is the time where you want to be dollar cost averaging. This is the time where you want to start getting exposure into the market. Now, I just want to bring up PowerPoint one more time. Okay. Alongside price action, we know that sentiment in all markets, they matter, right? Fear adds fuel to the downside. Hype and euphoria adds fuel to the upside. And there are various Bitcoin analytics that can be used to determine where you set your certain bids and sells. However, today, I want to focus specifically on a recent analysis performed by our investment team at Revix, taking into account the fear to greed index of Bitcoin, the market sentiment, and the price of Bitcoin over the long term. And I love the fear to greed index. It's an amazing analytical tool because it takes all social media responses and gauges the sentiment in terms of greed and fear expressed across various social media platforms. And if we look at that fear to greed index right now, we're sitting at about 10 in extreme fear. And I think we can all feel that. We've had, as Daniel said at the beginning, we've had 9 red candle weeks in Bitcoin, which in history, we've never had that. I think it's been 7 or 8 max. So we really, I'm not sure if the bottom is in, but we are at that point where it's, if you want to start taking positions, this is the time to start taking positions, right? Now, just to continue here with PowerPoint. Now, what we did is we took the fear to greed index, historical data since 2018, and we plotted it against price action. We compared 2 different types of investment strategies. And those 2 different types of investment strategies was just a simple lump sum investment made in 2018 versus a dollar cost averaging investment, purely based on the fear to greed index. So whenever the fear to greed index hit 15, we would throw in X amount of bids, opposed to, just putting a lump sum investment in one go. And the results were actually quite astonishing. It was very surprising to me to see this. So it's dollar cost averaging versus lump sum investing. From 2018, if you did a lump sum investment opposed to a dollar cost averaging strategy every single time, in extreme fear on the fear to greed index of 15 was reached, at the current market value of $30,000 Bitcoin, you would be at a 70% alpha profit above your lump sum investment. I found that incredible because what it showed me, I was always a person who wanted to time the market all the time. And you seeing that and just basing it on sentiment, it really changed my whole view about everything. I could relax a little bit and just focus on this analytics that when there is fear in the market, that is when I'm going to start adding to my position. So I thought that was a really cool analysis that the team did over there. Now, just for some basic, just so as fundamentals, that must be known when managing a portfolio. Most of these instruments, they're positively correlated to Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin moves upwards or downwards, so do altcoins. But altcoins usually move at a greater multiple due to their smaller market capitalization and also lower liquidity. There aren't a significant number of buyers and sellers of the asset. So the price of an altcoin can be impacted significantly with large or buy-sell orders. And we've seen this now. Bitcoin's dropped about 60 or so percent. Some altcoins are down 80 to 90% in this market right now. This also plays a part in whether we're in a bullish or a bearish trend. Now, in a bullish trend, money will usually flow into Bitcoin, causing price appreciation. And if the trend remains bullish, Bitcoin will usually remain stable or decrease slightly in value, and capital will often then move into assets with relatively smaller market capitalization. It's almost a trickle-down effect from Bitcoin, your higher market cap assets, down to your mid cap, down to your lower cap, and then into stablecoin exposure to try to get the next investment opportunity. But this is very different to when we're in a bearish trend. When we're in a bearish trend, money may flow into Bitcoin or other high market cap digital assets. This results in short-term price appreciation, but we often don't see this money flow into mid and smaller cap assets, but rather straight into stablecoins. And this is because if market prices drop even further, one has stablecoin to invest into Bitcoin or other altcoins. So when you're in this bearish trend, you want to make sure that you have a decent amount of stablecoin exposure, opposed to a bullish trend where you can really keep that stablecoin holding much lower. Now, diversification, we all know it's a wonderful tool. You can spread your risk among altcoins in case of large downside, as well as you can increase the chance of maybe catching those outliers of upside in altcoins. If you really are a crypto trader, you're going to be on Twitter, you're following news, you're following projects, and if something comes out that's newsworthy, we're going to see some sort of price action. And that's really where that diversification sets in, to try minimize that risk of downside as well as capture as much upside as possible. But Bitcoin is always the asset to keep an eye on, as well as this dominance in percentage to the rest of the digital asset markets. And one of the reasons I chose to join Revix is just the ease in which we provide for automated diversification across digital assets. So when I started managing a portfolio, rather than signing up on multiple decentralized exchanges or centralized exchanges and trying to structure all my altcoin investments, what Revix did is it provides an automated investment bundle where you can get exposure to digital assets focused on payments, on smart contracts, on DeFi, and other sectors. The team's always working out to come out with the most comprehensive product suite as possible. But what I love what they also provide is they've got these savings vaults. So when you want to hold that stablecoin exposure, either in a bullish or a bearish trend, you can also earn a yield on the stablecoins that you're holding. So the sign up, the verification is extremely quick. It's easy. You can structure your portfolio with just a few clicks. And yeah, for anyone who's a newbie and wants to venture into the altcoin side, not just Bitcoin, wants to take a little bit more risk, wants to diversify, I'd really urge you guys to check out the platform over here. I've got a URL link that I can share if Daniel wants me to at some point. And check the platform out. Have a look at the different bundles. Have a look at the different savings vault tools. Because what I found is it's made my journey in crypto so much easier to get exposure across the risk curve without having to be on multiple exchanges and working everything off an Excel spreadsheet. And that's pretty much what I wanted to share for today. I wasn't 100% sure on every single topic I should cover. I wanted to just do a very brief intro, and any questions or topics, we'll see what comes up and we can take it from there in the future. But I just wanted to hit you with just the basic stuff today. So I really hope you enjoyed it, guys.
Cool. Thank you, Arran. Yes, I really enjoyed it, and I assume our audience enjoyed it as well. So thank you for your preparation and being here. And we will discuss a little bit about Revix later. And thank you for doing an excellent presentation and really giving us some value. So you can, guys, girls, you can chat away in the chat box. If there's specific questions you would like to ask. I would like Arran to later just position Revix as a company within the formal financial sector and just give us a little bit of input around that. But before we do that, let's just go to our subject matter expert on crypto trading at the Crypto School. And Jason, I know Arran has answered one or two of your questions that you were going to answer already. Just give us a feel a little flow down of what's happening with the market today.
Thanks, Daniel. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for a brilliant presentation there, Arran. So yeah, Daniel, we've seen a nice move in Bitcoin over the weekend. We saw a bit of a down, went down on Friday. It was a bit of a bear trap, and we moved off that low, and we've had a nice 9% move in the last 4 days. But besides that, what has really been exciting is that we've seen a bit of reaction coming from the altcoins, and in the last sort of 24 hours, we've seen some massive moves in some of those coins. But if we have a look at the chart, Bitcoin has been acting in this range between 28,640 and 30,750 for the last 2 weeks, up and down. And it's been a bit of a boring market. And you can see that on Friday we came down here. It was we caught the bears there. We moved off that low there and we moved back up, and you can see we're at the top of the range now. And if we go into smaller time frames, we are at a resistance point right now, right at the top of that range. So is indecision time right now as to where Bitcoin is going to go going forward. But it was nice to see this move in the last 4 days. And if we just have a look at crypto bubbles now for the last 24 hours, we've seen some nice moves out. Some of these coins, Waves, for example, 61%. That was the Luna coin, the new one, 59%, HNT, 30%. And then Rune, 21%, and then some smaller moves are below 20%. But all in all, in the top 100 bubbles, really mostly, well, almost 100% green there besides 2 red ones. So that is looking very positive. And this was due to the Bitcoin dominance chart having this massive move up here between the 24th of May and the 27th of May, where we saw the Bitcoin dominance really shoot up. But it was a bit of a overbought area up here on the 27th of May, resulting in a retracement that's caused now the altcoins to take off. We are still hoping that we're currently in this rising wedge formation. We're hoping that it is going to break to the downside, and we're going to see some more moves out of the altcoins in the next couple of days. But we really are at the decision point now, right now, with Bitcoin at right at the top of the range. If we go and have a look at some of the indicators like the RSI, the relative strength, we can see that if we go into the daily, I am going to switch off the stock RSI. We can see that the RSI has been trending up since the 9th of May, yet price has been decreasing. So this has been bullish divergence for the last 3 weeks, with the relative strength index not confirming this drop down in price. And this now really pushing up. So we're hoping this carries on, this RSI carries on moving up and resulting in price hopefully moving up. But if we go into smaller time frames, 1 hour, 2, we are in overbought territory, and you can see on the 1 hour already we're starting to push down to the RSI, create a bit of bearish divergence, whereas price is still acting right against this resistance line, and yet the RSI is starting to trend down. So we need to see what happens now overnight. We are hoping that we do get a breakthrough at the 39,750. You must remember in the last 2 weeks that traders have been trading this movement of Bitcoin up and down in these ranges. Every time it gets to the top here, we have got short sellers coming in and pushing price, trying to push price down. They normally would put their stop loss just above this last candle. If we go into higher time frames here, they would put their stop loss just above the sort of line over here. If we have a move through this resistance point and we start breaking those stop losses, it could result in a massive move of Bitcoin as those short traders have to cover their positions. So we are hoping that happens where we start moving up here. If we go and have a look at some other charts, the total market cap. So the total market capitalization on the daily, we have actually broken to the downside out of this bearish pennant. But if we just have a look at the indicator, the RSI on the daily, same scenario, as I think it was the same date there, the 9th day. Yeah, 8th of May. We hit a low, the RSI started trending up, yet price has gone down since the 9th of May. And this has created bullish divergence. Once again, on the day, we have seen a nice reaction, as I say, on especially the altcoins. If we go to the total 2, which excludes Bitcoin, same scenario with the RSI. We've seen a nice reaction now off the lows, and it is currently above a support area, on a support area of 670 billion. And the total 3, which excludes Bitcoin and Ethereum, also on top of a nice support here at 437 billion. So for now, it's looking very positive. As I say, we are hoping that we break through this resistance at 37.50. We're going to have a look now on a larger time frame. We can see, I'm going to go to the weekly. So in the weekly, we've been in this downtrend since the 15th of November. We have come back into this white channel that has been in place since April last year. And we're on this major support line here of 28,640. If we draw a basic trend line, a retailer's trend line here, and just connect the high in November and the high on the 4th of April, and if we continue with the sideways pattern, we could have a decision time anytime between now and towards the end of July. So we're not too sure when we'll have a breakout. The one thing that is at the back of my mind is that we've still got a possible interest rate hike in the United States in the middle of June. That could come into play here. That could cause the stock markets to possibly retrace from their current highs over the past week. That could come into play. But yeah, we are coming quite close now to the end of this in the next month or so, and it'll be decision time from there for them. But we are in this bullish. We just have a look here. We've got a falling wedge, and that is normally bullish because there's normally a 68% chance of a break to the upside there. So on high time frames, it is looking bullish. I did give you a case last week from a well-known trader that I follow, and he's used the Elliott wave on higher time frames, and he's gone back right to the low of the previous cycle in December 2018. That was over a year. Sorry, it was actually, yeah, 2018 was there. So that was the low there. And we can see that low there was actually lower than the Corona drop in March 2020. And he's used a basic 5-wave move there of Elliott wave from the low up to a high in June 2019, down to a low in March 2016. And I just want to move up here and up to the 3rd wave up to November last year. We are now acting in a 4th wave down at the moment. I can just move this across. I think I have trouble at the moment. Oh, it's locked. Doesn't help to lock it out. So we're in a 4th wave now at the moment, and hopefully a 5th wave up from there. That would lead us into a similar, hopefully parabolic move like we had at the end of the cycle in 2017. But it all hinges on where we currently are. As I said previously, it depends whether we break through the 1.61 extension of the high in December 2017 and the low in December 2018. And if we put a fib level there and just measure it across, right across, we can see that the 1618 level does not normally get broken to the downside in the next cycle after the previous cycle on a weekly basis. So we don't want to see a candle on a weekly basis break below this level roundabout. I've actually got it marked out here properly, at 28,640, and that's based on the BLX. And you can see that on a weekly basis, we have been honoring this line where we haven't had an opening candle below and a closing candle below that line. So that's currently honoring that. If we do have that scenario where we got an opening and closing candle below this, that actually now points to this model being null and void. So this is still acting out as possibly the fourth wave down, and hopefully we'll see a nice wave up going into the last 6 months of the year. So that is a positive side that we see right now. And then just what we're going to see possibly for the next couple of weeks is if we go and look at what happened in July last year, where we had, I'll show you this morning this, where we had a similar move in Bitcoin between May and July, where we went from, so we went from a low on the 22nd of June to a high on the 29th of June. And we did come down to the 786, we moved up, and then we went down and we started trending down for the 4th of May to the 20th of June. So that was for about 6 weeks, we actually trended down. And this is similar to what we see in the Wall Street cheat sheet. Once we get past this anger stage, there is a slow bleed down into depression where we start moving back up into disbelief, and then we catch the next wave up through to euphoria. So if we have a look at where we currently see ourselves, we have had one move down, another move up, another move down, another move up, and down in that. And we could have another slow bleed now down into the depression phase over the next couple of weeks. As I say, the decision time is by the end of July. So we could have a bleed in the next couple of weeks before we get to a low there, and then a move off the low back up again. As Arran pointed out, there are a few different scenarios that we can look at where possibly Bitcoin can hit a low point. I did show you previously that the 200 moving average on the weekly, and this is Coinbase. If we go back and look at history there, the 200 moving average on the weekly has always been honored. And unfortunately, I haven't got much history past year, October 2018, but it seems to be honoring. And you can see that point there is 22,157. Another point of reference is this $24,000 level that wasn't tested on the way up in December 2020. Let's just go into the daily. So this 24,000 level, you can see here, resistance was 24,000. We went through here, if you can remember that time, there was all talk about Tesla and Bitcoin and that just pushed the Bitcoin price up over December 2020. We didn't actually come down to retest this area. So my assumption is that we are going to be possibly coming down and testing this area in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, and hopefully we're going to see off there a positive reaction to the.
Oh. Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Jason. I like that Elliott wave landing of you with that fifth leg up, but then you've gone back to maybe we go test this. Yeah. And immediately.
We really test our emotions by going into depression the next couple of weeks. Not saying that we're not depressed yet.
Yeah, Jason, I just started to like the positive news that you're bringing us, and then you got back to reality. Yeah, I understand where you're going with that. So thank you for an excellent job again, like usual. And Jason, do you have one more thing to say there, or can I go to the, thank you, Jason. And then without further ado, let's go to the young gun and hear what he learned last week. We didn't have him on the call due to poor signal, but tonight at least we redirected the signal. Thank you, Andre. Please come and tell us what you've learned.
Yeah, guys, I learned that without the signal booster, I'm basically useless because I'm using LTE on the farm. But anyways, the farm life is brilliant. But yeah, guys, so everyone over that I love trading, not like everybody loves trading, but I like to trade and chart and stuff. And the problem is with trading, you get lazy and A lot of people say you have to go and manage your trades, and you have to go and see what did you did where, so you have to keep track of your trades. And I always thought, nah, I'm doing it because I can see where I bought it. I chart everything on TradingView, but that isn't enough, because we found a website that actually keeps track of everything, because you can enter everything you want in the website and it works brilliantly. And I want to share that with you guys tonight. The website is called TraderSync, and I'll quickly, before I show it, just paste that in the chat so that I don't get lost with everything here. So TraderSync, and you have to pay for it, but it's really worth it, guys. If you go, I hope you guys can see my screen though.
We definitely can.
Can you? Okay, brilliant. So this is TraderSync, and this is what you once you enter that website. So you can see here 50% off. You can go through the prices and everything there. So yeah, this is basically how it looks, and I'll quickly go and show you guys how it looks when you use it. So I'm just gonna log in. Okay. So now this is really interesting. So you can see I've done a lot of trades and I've charted everything there and kept track of everything. And what's really nice is you can go filter out, like you can add in any coin you want. You can even add stuff that you can't find on here. And yeah, but anyways, and like you can see here, I have setups called conservative. So basically I went because I want to test the strategy and everything. And there's a lot of different factors to keep in mind, because basically I'm trading against the trend now. And that's why I have a conservative setup. So I conservative setup on my side, I take profits earlier. The aggressive setup, I take profits much higher. So this is where I can keep track and see what the market, when what setup works best in the market. And it shows you, look at that, for instance, it shows you 75% win rate, which, I don't know, for me, that is really good. That's not too bad. So you can see what setup works best at what time. So this is really brilliant. You can see there's different portfolios, so you can choose there. You can even go and check what dates. You can see the performances. So this is just for testing. So I didn't like put in exactly how much I bought at what price. I just went and tested how each trade went. And I'll quickly show you guys. For instance, if you click there on the coin, it will show you here, because I go and enter my targets beforehand. So you enter the targets, you can see what percentage profit that is. You can add the stop loss, it should show you what risk there is. And you can see there, you keep track what time, everywhere. And then you can actually go back, because now what usually happens, for instance, I trade on Cardano. And I traded on 1 hour, I did a scalp or 15 minutes, whatever. And then 2 weeks later, then I trade on it again, or a day or two later, trade on it again. Obviously, I have to clear the chart because otherwise it gets messy. So now you have everything here, and you can go and go back in time and just go see what happened where. If I go down, added different stuff, so you can enter the mistakes you had. You can see this conservative setup. You can even add in like anything you want. We had this thing. Oh, someone is calling me. So we had this thing called divergences, so you can add in what divergence you had. So this is a really nice setup. So I don't know how many of you guys love trading like I do, and this is really a great thing for you to keep track of your trades, because if your risk to reward ratio isn't really good, then why do you want to keep trading that? So yeah, this is basically in short what I wanted to share with you guys, and I think this is really...
Thank you, Andre. We appreciate that, and I'll go check it out as well. And you better talk to that girl. It seems as if she's serious about getting to talk to you. But thank you, Andre. Marius, will you show us what you learned?
Daniel, yes, I've been a slow learner this last few weeks. We started up other ventures, so as you're more like a crypto investor, but yes, I've got these three modules in my planning this week still to do on the trading course that I'm busy with. I'm going to do my support resistance levels, the spider ray lines, and the other confluence. Hopefully next week I will share a few stuff that I learned there. Yeah, that is where I am. My portfolio is there, and it's going up and down with the crypto market, and we are on the sideline for me. Cool. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Marius. We appreciate your congruence. And Arran, over to you. I've seen that there's been one or two comments in the chat box. I trust that you have followed them and read them. Is there something specific that you would like to answer, or should I read them out for you? What will be best for you?
Yeah, let's address them straight from the top. Is the first one, yeah. Anthony, do you believe adding Bitcoin to your portfolio adds long-term benefits? Yeah, of course, as we said, Bitcoin is a lot less speculative than investing in other altcoins, but it definitely has some sort of diversification benefit to your overall investment portfolio. And if we just even look at the performance of Bitcoin, and this is actually going to go into a few of the other questions I saw a little bit later about the correlation to gold and the S&P 500, that I quickly just put up a chart over here. Let me just see if I can share it quick sticks. And I'm showing, let's get to the correct screen. Yeah, just bear with me for a second. I think it's here. You're seeing the PowerPoint still?
No, we're not seeing anything.
Okay. Are we on TradingView?
Yes, we're on TradingView on your Bitcoin chart.
Okay, so here's standard Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin to silver on a 2-week time frame. The market cap growth to silver is completely outperforming it. Bitcoin to gold.
Arran, your page did not open correctly. We've just seen a blue line top to bottom.
How about now?
Blue line top to bottom.
Okay, I'll try one more time. How about now?
We see your Bitcoin silver chart.
Okay, Bitcoin silver chart. So this is comparing the overall market capitalization of Bitcoin versus silver. And this is on a 2-week time frame. We've got a history since 2014. You can see the market cap growth in Bitcoin compared to that of silver, how much money is being invested into Bitcoin in comparison to silver since 2014. Same thing with gold. Where's money flowing? Where's smart money flowing? Now we look at even the NASDAQ. We've had a positive correlation. I was worried that we were going to lose this year because we've been the NASDAQ, but it got quickly bought up. Yeah, so I'm hoping we move straight back into this channel and keep outperforming equities as well. But to answer the first question from Anthony, it definitely does add diversification benefits, speculative investment benefits, a whole risk element where you can earn a much higher return than taking risk in equities, etc. So yeah, most definitely can add some benefit there. I also saw some other questions just regarding Revix, which was about the, okay, well, firstly about the correlation. So we can see they are positively correlated, but Bitcoin has been outperforming all investment classes over the time frame that we showed there. But the next question was regarding the US dollar vault on Revix and the interest rate yield, whether it's a fixed period investment or you're able to draw out immediately historical performance and other investment groups, investment groupings, etc., DeFi, whatever. Okay, so Revix has only launched the vault within the last 6 months, if I'm not mistaken. And it's on a 30-day rolling. So you have access to your capital whenever you want. But if you take out your capital out of that vault within 30 days, there is a penalty fee. There is no penalty fee after that 30-day rolling. Revix currently has a promotion where it was, as of middle of May, they were giving 12% yield on US dollars for 2 months, which would then drop to 9%. So in the end, over about a 12-month period, on your invested rands converted to dollars, people are earning about between the 9 to 11% yield per annum on that investment over there. And you do have access to your capital whenever you want. So what I like to do when I'm managing my portfolio, unlike Andre, I'm not a scalper, I'm not a short-term trader. I do like to swing trade, for lack of a better term. I do like to look for those areas where I can invest, I can sit tight, and when there are those times of euphoria, just take some chips off the table at the top and add at the bottom. So what I love about the vault is that stable coin exposure. I'm earning a yield on it while I'm analyzing the market and checking when next I want to take a position.
Cool. Thank you for that. And that was well done. And can you believe it? an hour is gone again. And that's how easy it is. So let's quickly run through everybody to just say last hurrah. Everyone just give us a last hurrah. And while we just give them 1 minute to think, please go to our YouTube channel, the Crypto School. And every Monday, every Crypto Talk, we go post on there, plus some additional videos for you. So please go visit our YouTube channel. Make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell so that you get the notifications when we can. So Arran, let's start with you tonight, and the last words for you, last thoughts that you would like to say and leave us with, maybe a last thought from your side, and we will definitely invite you back. I can see that's definitely must happen. So thank you for adding value to our community, and we look forward, and we'll see if you will be willing to come back, because that's always the question. But we will definitely host you again. Thank you for what you've done tonight. Last comments from you.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you guys so much. I really enjoyed it. Would love to be on again. We can explore a variety of different topics. My last comment, it might not be the bottom. It might be the bottom. Dollar cost average, get in the market now. No one's going to time the bottom exactly. If you can get in 20 to 30% near the bottom and take some chips off the table, 20 to 30% at the top, you're winning. So just go for it.
Cool. That's sound advice. Thank you. And we appreciate what you've added tonight. Jason, last thoughts from you, buddy.
Yes, Daniel, what they say is when in doubt, zoom out. If we have a look at Bitcoin for the last year, we are 15% down compared to this time last year. But compared to May 2020, we're 230% up. So the long-term trend is still moving up, guys. And even though Bitcoin's been here for the last 12 years, we are still very, very early in the space. And over the long term, Bitcoin's just going to carry on going up. So that's all I have to say, Daniel. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Jason. We appreciate what you bring to the table. The young gun, Andre, are you still on the call? Are you holding out with your signal?
Yeah, sorry, man. Lee, I don't know. You remember Lee from Crypto EMC? He was phoning me the whole time. But anyways, first of all, there was a question regarding, do you manually update the trader sync, or is it linked to your exchange? So you can actually link it to your exchange, and you can actually link it to TradingView as well. But then you have to use, I don't know, I don't use the TradingView one. It's a bit complicated because you have to, it's more for the stock market and stuff like that with TradingView. But anyway, so you can link it to exchange and you can use it manually. I just used it manually. Yeah, and that works perfectly. But yeah, Donnie, can you guys still hear me?
We can hear you. Last thoughts, buddy.
Last thoughts is there's actually a competition going on, and this is for the guys that actually trades and stuff. That's why Lee actually phoned me and he told me they have a competition with 50 participants and they only need 25 people more. So basically you just have to have $200 in your Bybit account and just basically trade like $1. You don't even have to trade $1 more than that. He's currently first. So you can stand a chance to win 950 people. Anyway, so I'm gonna do that definitely. So I'm excited. Jason, are we gonna compete for that?
Well, we're all on Bybit. We're all registered on Bybit. We all have some crypto on Bybit, so we might just as well go and play with, Andre.
Yeah, we need it for this long-term investing. Everything's so cheap now.
Cool. Thank you, Andre. Appreciate what you bring to the table. Marius, last thoughts from you.
Yeah, I just want to say we are all in this together for the long term and the long haul. As Jason said, if in doubt, zoom out. We are still in a good space in the crypto world. And I believe that we're going to have a great future in crypto. Thanks, Daniel, and thanks to all the other speakers.
Cool. Thank you, Marius. Ladies and gentlemen, we are a bit over time, but thank you to everyone that contributed tonight. Thank you for chatting with us in the chat box. And what a privilege to be with you on the call, to host you. Look forward to next week. And we trust that we're going to have some more green candles this week. It depends on what side of Jason's prediction you go visit, because he catered for both sides. Thank you, Jason. But ladies and gentlemen, have a great one, and we wish you green candles in the week. Blessings.